Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Baseball King Collectibles. I'm your host, the Baseball King, and welcome back to the studio. And today's show, a little something different. No sports today, all music, all right? And without music, the world doesn't go round. You know, music makes the world go round, right? So I have 5 musical guests on the show today. All in-person autographs. I've gotten each one of these in person, as I do majority of my autograph collection. Every celebrity autograph I've gotten was in person. I didn't purchase one celebrity autograph in my life. Baseball I have, yes, because, there's players who have passed away. They're no longer obtainable, or I just could never get them in person. It was just an impossibility. So those guys you have to purchase in certain items, things like that. But celebrities, no, I've never purchased a celebrity autograph. All of them were in person. I never made a purchase, okay, online, on eBay, on anywhere, any store, any auctions, never. All right, so these are all in person. That's my thing. So anyway, let's get to today's show. We have 5 music guests, like I said, and pretty good ones. The first guy, he burst on the scene, 1956, Teen Idol. Was coming on. Elvis was coming on, and Fabian, all those songs, they were teen idols. The girls had the crush on them, and this guy came out with a big hit, Diana, and it was a number 1 single, and it was I think he won a Grammy for it even. I think it might have been one of his only Grammys, if not his only Grammy. Paul Anka. That's a big name, guys. Paul Anka. He's still 83 years old, still going strong. He's still performing wherever, Las Vegas, I'm sure he's out there somewhere. You can catch his act still probably. He's been performing a long time. Like I said, this guy, he was in, made movies with Elvis. He was in movies with Elvis. He made a lot of those teen movies. It was back in those late 50s, early 60s. That was the thing, teen movies and, the bikini beach movies and all that stuff. But he was there. He was one of the guys. So he was big for that. And then he kind of left the scene, just like that. He came, burst on, and then he had a 10-year drought. No number 1 hits, no nothing for 10 years. And then he finally made a comeback. In what year was it? Early 70s with "You're Having My Baby." Remember that song? Everybody knows that song. "Oh, You're Having My Baby." That was a very popular song. So that gave him his comeback, and he made a few more hits. And look, that was on regular top 40 back in the early 70s. Paul Anka was still a top 40 guy, so he was doing good late in his career, and then he switched over back. He stopped. Oh, actually, he made how many records this guy's made? I think he sold over 100 million records, 100 albums he's made, something like that. I don't know how many, but this guy's really a long time around. So thank you, Paul Anka. And in person, where did I get him? I think I got him at the airport, JFK, coming off a flight. Like I said, I regularly was able to get information on who was on the flights, who was coming off and on. So we were prepared. And either that or I'm not sure. Could have got him somewhere else, but I think I got him at the airport. Anyway, moving on to our next guest. And of course, I got the photo with Paul Anka, which I'm going to put up there. So next guest is another sweetheart, real nice woman. Really, I like her. I mean, you don't have to. Some people don't like her. She has a little controversial, as a host, she was kind of, people didn't like her as much, but singer, choreographer, all that stuff, a dancer. She was an amazing dancer too. It's where she started as a career as a Laker girl. All right, then she became the top Laker girl, and she did all the choreographing for the Lakers and all that back in the early '80s, whatever that was, and then she became a big choreographer for music videos. And then she said, you know what? I can sing a little bit. She went on her own. She came out with an album, and it was for her album had the most number 1 singles with 4 number 1 singles from her album. No one's ever done that. That's a first. I don't know if anyone's done it since, but she was the first to do that, and it is, of course, Paula Abdul. Love and Luck. Is that what she writes? A lot of love to you. Oh, because she had a crush on me, I think. Poor, look at the pictures. I'll show a couple of pictures. Look how she's looking at me like, I don't know. She was single at the time, so who knows? But I was happily married. I told her that. I said, sorry, Paula. Can't do it. She asked me if I wanted to ride in the car, but hang out. But I said, I can't, Paula. My wife would not allow that. So, we move on from that, but she was really good. She was on American. Then she moved on to American Idol. She was many years on American Idol, 2002 to 2009, and then she's hosted other dance shows. She's a host, but on American Idol she was a little controversial. It was whatever. I didn't watch the show, so I don't know too much about American Idol. She was married to Emilio Estevez. How's that? Brief marriage back in the early '90s, I believe. A 2-year marriage. Hollywood marriages. don't always last. And she had another brief marriage, and she's been single all these years. So good for her. Right now, Paula Abdul is 62 years old, believe it or not. What else do we know about Paula Abdul? She's just bounced around over the years, show to show now, and she really she sold how many now? I think 60 million records she has sold. That's pretty quite an achievement for anybody. So thank you, Paula Abdul. And again, this was at JFK Airport. She was very sweet and really nice to me, and I can't ask. And it was more than once. I saw her more than once. Oh, nice every time I saw her. So can't ask for a better autograph signer. Look at the signatures are great. It's not that scribble no more, guys. This is why autograph collecting today, I just want to, because, I don't have to tell you, the check marks, the little circles, that's all you get. Now look at these autographs, look at Paul Anka, come on, everybody's. Oh, man, it's frustrating, all right? Let's move on to our next guest. Anyway, this guy, he burst on the scene. They all burst on the scene pretty much, But he came on quick, and he also had a quick album too. He had 13 number ones in his career. I'm reading a little off here because I can't remember everything. He's 81 years old now too. Believe it or not, this guy is 81 years old. I can't believe it. That means I'm not too far behind. He's got 54 albums, 13 number ones, Grammy Award winner. He's from Brooklyn, New York. So I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So we kind of like have a little common bond there. All us Brooklyn people, we just kind of like it. It's true. It really is. And you say you're from Brooklyn, you hear it I hear somebody talking, from Brooklyn. Well, right away, we go into a conversation, no matter where you are. It's just the way it is. Just how life is. But he burst on the scene, right? 1974, I think it was, with Mandy. That was his big hit, Mandy. I'm not going to even try to sing anything, so don't ask me. But that hit, Mandy. That was a big song. It was so much on the radio that you probably couldn't stand it. It was on so much. It really was. After a while, I can't hear that again. But he had hit after hit after hit. And it's Barry Manilow, of course. All right? The one and only. Gives you a nice, a lot of letters, but, not as bad as today's autographs, all right? This was just another New Year's Eve, one of his top songs. I mean, you can hear this every New Year's Eve. This is played, in someone's parties around the country. This was a very popular song back, but of course, not as big songs, but this was a big hit back in the day. And after that, after his music career, he did a lot of fundraising, Barry. He was really good with Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Hugo, even before that in 1989. And then there was a tornado in Missouri, Joplin, Missouri, I think. And that was 2011. And he had a foundation raising money, and he used $300,000 of that money to build a high school, which got ruined from the tornado. He rebuilt everything for them, musical instruments, everything. And these are the things you don't hear about people. So Barry Manilow, I love him. I'm a fan of, okay? I am fan of Barry Manilow. Are you? You should be. I wasn't back then really, but, kind of catchy tunes after so many years, So, anyway, we got another guest on the show here, and it's one we had previously, but we're going to bring him back because it was on one of our early shows, and not too many people watched it, so we'll bring him back. It's this guy. We'll go easy on you. We'll tell you right away. It's Roger Daltrey. And it's not the greatest photo. It's just a plain photo and just a, plain shirt. It should be on stage with a band with the mic singing or something. Those are the photos you want. They give a premium price. It's just not worth as much on this photo, even though it is, has a nice price to it. The photo's a premium. It really is. Daltrey, of course, he started with The Who. Oh, they had 12 studio albums with The Who, and he did 10 on his own. So, he did just as many on his own as he did with The Who and studio albums. I'm not forgetting live albums and all that. He was with The Who, 64 to 82. That's a long career. And he went solo in 73. So while the band was still at its height, really, they were peaking at 73. He was on his own now with his own records and his own albums and his own everything. And so did Pete Townsend. He went on his own too. But they stayed together and performed many times together still, and then he did his acting, of course. And then the big movie came out, Tommy the Who. There it is, Tommy the Who album. That's from my personal album, from my personal collection. Okay, it's an original album of mine. You can see it's beat up. We didn't handle albums back then like kid gloves now. So I don't care. It's my album, my personal collection. Can't ask for more. Roger Daltrey, right across the middle. Beautiful, right? So, he did acting. Then he went into little acting he did with the Tommy movies and the Quadrophenia and all that stuff. The rock operas started. And they were like the first to do rock operas and, the fashion and the pop art back in the late 60s and all. They really brought it to life. They were the first ones to do that. They performed at Woodstock. That's legendary things, all right? Not many people even left from Woodstock performing. And he's still performing, Daltrey. I mean, I give him credit, man. This guy's still out there kicking it, man. This guy ain't... he's 80. 80. I hope to be 80. I just want to hope to be 80. All right. So, they did the power chords and the windmills and the heavy, they're the originators of all that. And Pink Floyd even copied a lot of them. They even said that. Pink Floyd admits they took a lot of the, style from The Who, really. Because they were that influential. They were really a very influential band back in the 60s, 70s, and, going forward. Still very, who doesn't listen to this song? They're on the radio constantly. How do you not hear them constantly on the radio? So that wraps it up for Daltrey. We'll show you one more time the autographs. Very nice. 2 different pages. Not one. So like I said, not worth as much because it's on a plain photo. This, I don't even know what the value is. I'll see if I can find one for you and put it up on the screen. But I don't know, 500 maybe, something like that. I didn't get a JSA yet. I will, eventually. Of course, I'm going to have to sell it eventually because no one, my family's really going to want this. I might as well get the money for it eventually. Not yet, but sooner than soon. Things are going to start moving out of the house here. Happily, my wife would like that. But I don't know, not so soon. Anyway, our next guest had the longest career. He lived to 96, and he was performing right to the very end. He was still performing with an amazing voice. The voice never changed. That's one thing. Singers. The career could go for, as long as their voice stays the same. People's voices don't change normally. That's why baseball announcers go for you forever. Your voice don't change. Same thing with singers. As long as you're still able to perform, like Julie Andrews can't sing anymore, something with her voice. But most of the singers who can sing, they can sing forever if they want to, and most of them do. Thankfully, a guy like this guy, you can't ask for better than this guy. The crooner of the crooners. All right, Tony Bennett, the one and only Tony Bennett. See his autograph. He was great. He gave you, look at the signature, beautiful. Hell, I got him not once, not twice, not 3. I got him so many times I don't even know. But this is the first time I ever got him. This was outside of David Letterman's show. That's how I got his autograph on that one. And these 2, I believe, this one was just walking down the street. We just happened to see Tony. What's up, Tony? Because he was in New York. I always carry photos of the New Yorkers in a bag I had. So just happened to see him. And this one I think I got off at the airport, maybe JFK. I don't remember. I honestly don't. You guys have 1 autograph, 2 autographs in your collection that you meet in person. You remember them. You never forget them. I've forgotten so many of mine. That's how many I got. You can't remember everything. I'm sorry. I just can't. It's an impossibility when you have so many. Like I said, the few that stick out, of course. But when you get so many of the same guy, like 3 Tony Bennetts, that's a beautiful signature, that one. These photos can go, roughly, I would say, $300, $300 to $500 a Tony Bennett signature goes for these days. I don't even know. I really don't. I never looked them up, but we'll take a peek. We'll see what they go for. And as long as all the other photos, too. I don't know, Tony Bennett, what a career he had, though, right? Think about that. He's got a Walk of Fame, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He did, this guy, they told him, they warned him. His agent warned him. You're a crooner, but do not be like Sinatra. Do not try to copy him. Do not, because, similar styles, similar crooning like that back in the days. The Jerry Vales and Andy Williams and Perry Como and all those guys coming up. They're just, soul singers, crooning. Dean Martin also, he had a good career singing. But Tony Bennett didn't leave his heart in San Francisco. That's his big song. He was a New Yorker for the last 50, 60, 70 years of his life. So in that big song, I left my heart in San Francisco. No, you didn't, Tony. It's in New York. You didn't leave it there. Your heart was always in New York. But anyway, he had a fabulous career, long career. How many albums did he make? I have it written down somewhere, I think. 61, I'm sorry. 61 albums and over 100 million records sold. And, the guy's just a big, big name. He's right under Sinatra. Here's Tony Bennett, like right under him, in my opinion. As far as a big name goes, as far as those kind of singers back from the 50s and 60s and 40s, whenever he started. But, he many movies too. He did some acting too, of course, a little bit, not much. 20 Grammy Awards. How's that? 20, right? 20. That's up there. It's in the top 10, I would think, you know. And then he had a late surge in his career thanks to Lady Gaga. So all of a sudden he's hooked up with Lady Gaga. I don't know how. She got a liking to him. They collaborated and did some albums together and a few things, and it worked out well. And she was right there, right to the end of his life with him. She was a really good friend of him right to the end. So Tony Bennett was just a great American figure as far as music goes. He was just phenomenal. You can't take anything away. There's never a bad word about Tony Bennett. And he was a great autograph sign, as you saw of all the photos I just showed you. So we'll show him one more time. Tony singing. And Tony he had a little toupee on back then in those days. He didn't like it. I didn't like that toupee. Then without the toupee, much better. You know, I guess, I don't know. But whatever. We're all follically. Follically. So that don't matter. All right. So that's about it, guys, for today's in-person autographs. Remember, all in person. These were all in person. As all of my celebrity autographs are. So I want to do a little music theme today. And, you know, I think I did a good job, right? I don't know, you tell me. By subscribing and liking and ringing the bell and coming back and all that stuff. So you're going to do all that. I promise you I'll come up with more shows and more autographs and more whatever you ask for. Put it in the comments. I'll see you soon, continuing the journey with the Baseball King Collectibles.